You know, there are moments in history when human ambition gets so big, so out there, that it has to happen almost in complete secret. Well, this is one of those moments.
Okay, so picture this, a foggy morning out on the ocean. It's so thick you can barely tell where the steel gray sea ends and the sky begins. And out there, there's just this one survey ship, all by itself, kind of bobbing on the waves. The only sound is this low hum from its generators. But they're not there to discover something. They're there to create something.
On the deck, you've got a small team of engineers, and they're just staring at a monitor. There's no big speech, no ribbon-cutting ceremony, it's just quiet. Then, a single click, and this massive piece of equipment is lowered into the water, and it just disappears into the deep. They are literally laying the first piece of a project that could change everything.
Now, if you look at the official reports, they're super vague, just filled with a bunch of technical jargon. But what's really going on down there, in the dark, under all that crushing pressure, well, it pushes the limits of what we even think is possible. So the real question is, what are they building?
What they're building is the start of a transcontinental underwater rail line. Yeah, I know, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but the very first pieces are being anchored to the seabed as we speak. So let's dive into the engineering and see how they actually plan to pull off the impossible.
So the big idea here is a network of tunnels, right? For high-speed trains that connect continents. But look, this is not just another tunnel. We're talking about a pressurized, climate-controlled tube running through one of the most hostile places on Earth, the deep ocean floor.
And yeah, we've built underwater tunnels before. I mean, everyone knows about the Channel Tunnel. But this is a totally different animal. Just look at the comparison. We're not talking about a shallow seabed anymore. We're talking about the deep ocean floor. The challenge isn't just boring through some soft chalk rock. It's about surviving insane pressure and even tectonic plate movements. And this number right here, this says it all. The pressure down there is 30 times, 30, what we experience just standing at sea level. I want you to really think about that. It means every single square inch of this tunnel has the weight of a skyscraper pressing down on it, all the time, for decades. How in the world could anything survive that? So how do you even begin to build it? Well, the solution is pretty brilliant, actually. They borrow tech from deep-sea oil rigs and nuclear submarines. Instead of trying to dig one long tunnel, they build these huge modular sections on land. Then they tow them out to sea, sink them, and have robots literally click them together like giant Lego blocks. And get this, in some areas, the sections are actually suspended by tension cables, so they can flex and move when the Earth shifts. Wild, right? The engineering is it's mind-blowing. But it is also incredibly dangerous. And the cost? It's astronomical. Which really forces you to ask the big question. With risks this high, why would anyone even try to do this? Because the answer, it turns out, has very little to do with engineering. It has everything to do with power. This isn't just about building a tunnel. It's about drawing a whole new map of global influence. Someone on the inside put it perfectly. For hundreds of years, global power was all about who controlled the seas. This tunnel, it's a whole new game. It's about who controls the depths. Whichever country or group of countries finishes this thing first, they don't just get a new way to ship goods. They get to redraw the entire economic map of the world. And the disruption would be huge. I mean, the whole logic of global trade gets flipped upside down. Air cargo, which is fast but expensive, suddenly becomes the slower, less efficient option. Entire fleets of container ships, they could become obsolete. And all those major coastal ports that have been the centers of trade for centuries, their power could drain away, shifting inland to brand new hubs. And for the rest of us, beyond all that global economic stuff, there's this really incredible personal promise. Imagine no more jet lag, no more crazy airport security lines. You just fall asleep on a train in one continent and wake up totally refreshed in another. It's a vision of a much smaller, much more connected world. It's a powerful dream, for sure. But let's be honest with ourselves. There's a really primal fear here, isn't there? The idea of traveling in a tube deep underneath an entire ocean, it brings up a very, very simple question. Would you actually feel safe enough to get on board? And that right there is the fundamental problem they have to solve. To sell this incredible dream, they first have to conquer our absolute deepest fears. Because the margin for error on a project like this, it's zero. There is no room for mistakes. One engineering analysis put it in the most chilling way possible. A single leak down there isn't a minor incident, it is a catastrophe.
And these are the big questions that will decide if this project lives or dies. You know, how do you handle claustrophobia? How do you evacuate people from the middle of the Atlantic Ocean if something goes wrong? What happens if there's a power failure or an earthquake? And what does building this do to the fragile marine life down there that we're only just starting to understand?
Now, this dream isn't going to happen tomorrow. We're looking at a timeline that spans decades. These pilot sections they're testing right now, that's just the very first step. If they work, and that's a big F, we might see the first freight-only tunnels open in about 20 years. And passenger trains, we're probably looking at 30 years, maybe even longer.
Which brings us right back to today. The entire fate of this project is balanced on a knife's edge. The success or failure of those first test modules, the ones sitting on the cold, dark ocean floor right now, is going to determine everything. One critical failure, and this whole idea could get shut down for a generation. So as those robots and engineers continue their secret work, we're left with one final massive question. Are we watching the beginning of a brand new age of human connection? Or are we just building a much, much bigger, more spectacular way for things to go wrong? The answer is being written right now at the bottom of the sea.